So that's how it was. Why did Uncle do that? Yunyan asked. Unexpectedly, Grandma Jiang shook her head. Regarding this matter, I'm afraid only Yunyan himself knows, and the late old master. Back then, Yunyan contacted his father. He didn't contact anyone else in the Jiang family, including me. Even after he returned to the Jiang family many years later, he still never talks to me about the past. Seeing Yunyan's astonished expression, Grandma Jiang gave a wry smile. Yunyan, he and I have a weak mother-son bond. After all, I was absent for so many years during his upbringing. Grandma, I think you're overthinking it. Uncle probably doesn't say anything because he's afraid of making you sad. Such a small child being kidnapped, he must have gone through many difficulties during those years. Bringing it up again would only add to the sorrow. Grandma Jiang nodded. Every time I ask the third son, he gives the same explanation. But as his mother, how can I not worry? I always want to know what happened to him during those years, and why he didn't come home after getting in touch with the Jiang family. Calculating based on the time Jiang Yinyan returned to the Jiang family, he didn't go back immediately after leaving the Yu family. He stayed outside for nearly 2 more years before fully returning to the Jiang family. And during that 2-year gap period, where he went and what he did was completely unknown to the outside world. Presumably, Grandma Jiang didn't know either. Yunyan suddenly remembered someone else, Master Bu, the Southeast Asian leader. Jiang Yinyan's whereabouts might be strongly related to that Master Bu. Grandma, were the people who kidnapped Uncle found later? Yunyan asked. Grandma Jiang nodded. They were found. It was an overseas force, and the old master handled it personally. After a long pause, she added, the father and son didn't say much about this matter to outsiders. Now that the old master has passed away, only our third son knows all the details. If he doesn't want to talk about it, no one can force him. She continued, I just feel like I owe my third son. Ever since he returned to the Jiang family, he hasn't had a peaceful life. Now, to make matters worse, his arranged marriage partner ran off, and GZ almost dumped a bucket of dirty water on him. Your uncle, the old lady sighed again, bears the name Young Master Yan of the capital, which commands awe. It's true, but in reality, he's almost become a pushover. He can't get into the Jiang group and has to find another path. Just watching this makes me anxious and heartbroken. Yunyan swallowed several times. Did I hear that right? Jiang Yinyan, pitiful? How much Yunyan wanted to tell Grandma Jiang how she had been forced by Jiang Yinyan. How much she wanted to tell the old lady about Jiang Yinyan's true face. Him, pitiful? What about her, who was forced and threatened by him to yield to his pleasure night after night? Wasn't she pitiful? Yinyan, Grandma Jiang looked quite weary, patting her hand. I actually called you here today for something else. On New Year's Eve, a branch of the Jiang family's relatives, you might not have paid attention, but their old lady really took a liking to you. She praised you several times in front of me and wanted me to set you up with her eldest grandson. I watched that young man grow up. He's much more promising than that scoundrel Jiang Zhe. His company is abroad, and he just returned last night. I was thinking of arranging for you two to meet this afternoon. I just didn't expect this GZ incident to happen. Yunyan was stunned for a long time before she realized that the old lady was arranging a blind date. She hastily said, Grandma, I don't have any plans for dating or marriage right now. I know, Grandma Jiang said softly. It's normal for you to be averse to such things, and with your qualifications, how could you lack suitors? But since you call me Grandma, I must ensure you make the right choice in this matter, to be worthy of your mother. Grandma, Yunyan said, the Jiang family is already in such a mess with the GZ incident. Please don't worry about my affairs. They're 2 separate matters, Grandma Jiang said magnanimously. We can't delay your matters just because the second son did something disgraceful. Yinyan, go and meet him. How could Grandma's judgment be wrong? Nowadays, whenever that scoundrel Jiang Zhe causes any news, the outside world always drags you into it. It's true he's my grandson, but Grandma also feels for you. So, if you meet someone fated, who is truly good to you, it can also shut up the mouths of outsiders. Yunyan was torn between laughter and tears. Grandma, I don't live for how others see me. I know you're open and above board, but those who don't know might think you can't let go of old feelings, Grandma Jiang said earnestly. Of course, we don't have to live by others' opinions, but there's no need to wrong yourself, don't you think? She added, go and meet him. If you really don't like him, Grandma definitely won't force you. Grandma Jiang was certainly audacious. She actually made Jiang Yinyan drive her to a blind date. After leaving the Jiang family, Yunyan sat in Jiang Yinyan's car, still feeling shaken. The scene of Grandma Jiang admonishing Jiang Yinyan still echoed in her mind. Jiang Yinyan maintained a cool, detached expression throughout and said to Grandma Jiang, I don't think they're suitable. One is constantly abroad, and the other is constantly at home. How would they get along? He has more free time, more leisurely than most people. Grandma Jiang, affected by the GZ incident, explained weakly. He also understands Nyenyen's situation and will accommodate Nyenyen. Jiang Nyenyen's jawline tensed. After a long while, he said, arranging the marriage with Jiang so early was ill-considered. Nyenyen just started at the company not long ago, and she's not very old. There's no need to rush to arrange a marriage for her. Isn't there a suitable one right here? What's wrong with just meeting him? Grandma Jiang insisted. The road from the old mansion to the city is not easy. You drive her. Her tone with Jiang Nyenyen was non-negotiable. Ultimately, the matter of GZ and Jiang Yanxi still had to be dealt with behind closed doors. Apart from a servant who witnessed it and the butler, none of the other servants in the Jiang family knew anything about this matter. That servant could no longer stay in the Jiang family. According to Jiang Nyenyen, the Jiang family would give the person a sum of money to settle abroad. Jiang Nyenyen only told her about the follow-up regarding GZ and Jiang Yanxi after they got into the car. Although his expression wasn't good, he didn't hide anything when Nyenyen asked. The old lady's heart felt unwell. Otherwise, she would absolutely not have left the ancestral hall, nor would she have allowed them to make a scene there. After the old lady, unable to bear it, left, it took a while for the ancestral hall to quiet down. Jiang Zhe had gone all out. He really gave Jiang Yanxi a good beating, and no one could stop his vigorous energy. Even you couldn't stop him. Yunyan didn't believe it. Jiang Yunyan said, the second son indeed deserved a beating. Why would I stop him? So this matter will be handled internally, right? Yunyan asked. What else? It's not exactly a glorious matter, Jiang Yunyan responded blandly. Jiang Yanxi's stumble this time will directly affect his position in the company. The old lady will definitely make adjustments. Although she's not on the board of directors, her words still carry a lot of weight there. Can GZ be kicked out of the Jiang family? Jiang Yunyan pondered for a moment. Let's see what the old lady decides. Even if she isn't kicked out of the Jiang family, her life won't necessarily be easy from now on. Having said this, he paused, then turned to Yunyan. You're not allowed to go to that blind date tonight. What decent family arranges a blind date for the evening? They have ulterior motives. Then again, blind dates are usually scheduled for dinner, aren't they? The matchmaker's idea is always that after dinner, they can catch a movie. Scheduling it for lunch means after eating, you can only go back to work. Elder Jiang's good intentions. Even after the whole GZ incident happened in the Jiang family, the old lady didn't break her promise. And the blind date was quite proactive, having already booked a restaurant. The restaurant was in the old city, a place that was once the imperial capital. 100-year-old buildings lined the street, and behind a red wall stood the restaurant itself. It served modern cuisine with extremely strict ingredient requirements, so the taste was excellent. However, the exorbitant prices deterred most diners. So even though the restaurant was dubbed an internet-famous spot, those who could afford to check in and dine there were not the common masses. Perhaps out of deference to Elder Zhang's authority, Jiang Yunyan still pulled Yunyan along to this restaurant. Inside the red wall was a magnificent royal garden design, but Jiang Yunyan didn't park the car in the parking lot. He stopped right by the red wall, allowing a clear view of the restaurant's floor-to-ceiling windows. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, they could see the situation inside the restaurant. It looked like a fairy tale world enveloped by a sea of crystal chandeliers. But there weren't many people dining in the restaurant. A man sat at a window-side scenic seat, slowly sipping his drink. No doubt that was the blind date. As members of the Jiang family, they naturally upheld their manners and bearing. Jiang Yunyan chuckled. He even booked out the restaurant. Yunyan only then realized. She glanced at the time. It was almost time. Although Yunyan didn't want to go, she also didn't want to slight Elder Jiang. She reached out and opened the car door. What are you doing? Jiang Yunyan asked faintly. Yunyan was puzzled, getting out of the car. Did I tell you to go in? What's the hurry? Jiang Yunyan frowned slightly. Yunyan was even more bewildered. You're not letting me in? Then why did you personally bring me here? Just to come in, wander around, and go through the motions? She didn't mind, as long as he had a suitable reason to keep Elder Jiang from getting angry. The Jiang family was in disarray right now. She didn't want to make the old lady unhappy again and add fuel to the fire. Jiang Yunyan turned off the ignition, then turned to look at her, his deep pupils slightly contracted. Then I ask you, what do you plan to do once you go in? What to do? Yunyan pondered. It's quite awkward for two strangers to sit and chat. I'll quickly finish the meal, politely say goodbye, and then tell Grandma it wasn't a good match. That's it. Jiang Yunyan smiled faintly. You don't know him, but he knows me. Since it's just going through the motions, I'll go for you. With that, he opened the door and got out of the car. Hey, stay in the car. Don't wander off. Jiang Yunyan leaned against the car door, lowered his head, and instructed her. Yunyan stood frozen for a good while, only reacting after Jiang Yunyan's figure had walked away. No, what was he trying to do? Yunyan sat back down, closing the car door. Through the car window, she could see what was about to happen inside the restaurant. To be honest, she was quite intimidated by blind dates. Soon, she saw Jiang Yinyan. He entered the restaurant. The bright crystal lights shone on his broad, tall, elegant, and noble back. The other party clearly saw Jiang Yinyan and quickly stood up from his seat, his gaze respectful. In terms of upbringing, no one in the Jiang family would be lacking. Jiang Yinyan was from the main branch, holding a position of immense power in the capital circle. Who in the capital circle wouldn't know him, let alone someone from the Jiang family's own clan? What the two discussed was unclear. Yunyan could only see Jiang Yinyan's back. He sat down opposite, appearing languid and relaxed, while the junior opposite him did not sit but stood there as if Jiang Yinyan was asking about something, and he was answering respectfully. Yunyan couldn't clearly see the other person's specific appearance due to the distance, but his height and physique also inherited the Jiang family's excellent genes, which was very eye-catching. By this deduction, his looks wouldn't be bad either. Their conversation didn't last long. Soon, the other party took out his phone. Yunyan gave a start, her first thought being, he's not going to call me, is he? Her phone didn't ring. A call had already connected on his end. Yunyan then felt relieved. The man left. He left quite hurriedly. Jiang Yinyan, however, showed no intention of leaving. He moved to the opposite seat, and with a casual lift of his hand, the restaurant manager quickly approached. He gave a couple of instructions, and the manager nodded repeatedly, then ordered the waiters to clear all the tableware in front of him. After a short while, brand new tableware was brought out. Yunyan had no idea what trick Jiang Yinyan was up to. Just as she was wondering, she saw him pick up his phone and make a call. This time, her phone rang. It was Jiang Yinyan. As she answered, she instinctively looked up, and he was also looking back at her through the floor-to-ceiling window. At this moment, the light was brilliant and flowing. A bright, vivid light enveloped him. The night was splendid, and nightlife seemed to take on a colorful flavor at this moment. "Come in," he said from the other end of the phone. Yunyan wasn't sure if the blind date would return, so she asked, "What for?" He chuckled on the other end. "This is a restaurant, of course it's for eating." Booking out the restaurant at this time was a wise move. The Jiang family's affairs frequently popped up on trending searches. The incident of Jiang Zhe assaulting actress GZ was still a hot topic online, and the buzz hadn't died down yet. If she and Jiang Yinyan appeared in a restaurant and there were no other diners around, it would be fine. But if other diners recognized them, it might just add fuel to the Jiang family's media frenzy. Jiang Yinyan ordered the meal. Yunyan never worried about tastes. Three men in this world knew her preferences best: her father, Yuanzhou, and Yen. In the past, whenever she secretly ate out, the final ordering task always fell to Yen. Her phone rang. An unknown number. At this moment, Yunyan was already sitting opposite Jiang Yinyan, looking at the unfamiliar number on her phone. For some reason, she thought of the call from Zhan Chuan on New Year's Eve. Zhan Chuan hadn't called again after their conversation was cut off that day. Yunyan hesitated to answer for a moment. Jiang Yinyan, seeing this, asked, "Why aren't you answering?" The phone kept ringing. It wouldn't be good not to answer. Yunyan steeled herself and picked up, her heart pounding nervously. But upon hearing the voice on the other end, her anxious heart immediately settled. It was the blind date. He first introduced himself, explaining that he had obtained her number from Elder Jiang and asked for her understanding. He then explained to Yunyan that he had an urgent matter to attend to and was very sorry for standing her up that evening. His voice sounded hurried, clearly indicating he was indeed dealing with an emergency. Yunyan responded gracefully, telling him it was fine and that he should first take care of his urgent matters, though inwardly, she was overjoyed. The other party probably didn't expect her to be so magnanimous. Logically, when a girl gets stood up, even the most generous person would feel somewhat displeased, especially when the other party was a young lady from a wealthy family. The other party apologized profusely again, attempting to reschedule their next meeting over the phone. Yunyan's head started to ache at the mention of this, and she quickly said, "It's fine. Please focus on your work. There's no rush for us to meet, and I have a lot of work after the new year as well." A gentle refusal. It was clear that the other party understood. Whether he gave up or not was unclear, but he exchanged a couple of pleasantries and then ended the call. Jiang Yinyan looked at her, seemingly scrutinizing her. Soon, the dishes he ordered arrived one by one. During this time, Jiang Yinyan didn't say anything. Yunyan felt uncomfortable under his gaze, even finding his eyes like a deep twilight, quite eerie. She asked, "Aren't you eating?" Jiang Yinyan's mind was clearly not on dining. After a long pause, he finally spoke, his tone faint. "You seem quite nervous when you see an unknown number." Yunyan stiffened. She felt Jiang Yinyan's gaze across from her was like a knife, as if it could dissect everything about her, revealing her hidden worries and secrets. "There's so many phone scams these days, of course I have to be careful," she offered an excuse. "Is that so?" Jiang Yinyan smiled faintly, picking up a knife and fork to cut the chicken on his plate into small, easy-to-eat pieces. That's true. It's best to be careful. Yunyan lowered her head to eat, but she still felt Jiang Yinyan was acting strangely. A plate appeared in front of her. It was the chicken he had just cut, placed in front of her, and he smoothly swapped her plate away. His habit. From Yin to Jiang Yinyan. This habit seemed to have never changed. Yunyan looked at the cut chicken on the plate. The pieces were perfectly sized, just right for one bite. Every time she ate out with Jiang Yinyan, many times it reminded Yunyan of the past. Like every time she went to a Western restaurant, the meat on her plate would always be cut by Yin, with great attention to the size of the pieces for easy eating. Once, she overheard a conversation between a few bodyguards gathered around Yin. A bodyguard asked Yin, "The eldest young lady must be quite demanding, right?" "Not really." "Not really? Don't kid me. I see her constantly running around outside every day, and you have to be on guard all the time. She's a handful." "She's young. It's normal for her to be curious." "Do you have to cut her food before every meal?" "Yes." "No wonder everyone outside says our Miss Yu is famously delicate, just eating a meal, and she needs someone to serve her like that." "She's not delicate." Ayan, what did you say?" "If she's not delicate, what is she?" "She's not delicate." Ayan's voice at the time was soft and light, but distinctly emphatic. "She's precious." "Don't like it." Caught in her thoughts, Yunyan heard Jiang Yinyan ask from across the table, and only then realized she had drifted into memories. "It's very good," she responded. Jiang Yinyan hadn't eaten much. Perhaps all his actions of serving and cutting meat were for her. After a long while, he suddenly said again, "So, the person who called you on New Year's Eve wasn't a colleague, was it?" Yunyan's hand trembled, the fork in her hand almost falling onto the table. Luckily, she managed to compose herself in time. Suppressing her uneasy heartbeat, she looked up at him. "Is it strange for a colleague to call me? Why would you suspect that?" They say reason doesn't need a loud voice. For someone the wrong like her, while not foolish enough to raise her voice, a counter-question could often avoid the fate of being suspected. Jiang Yinyan looked at her, smiling faintly. "Really a colleague?" Otherwise, Yinyan didn't know what Jiang Yinyan was thinking. She guessed that given his personality, he probably wouldn't believe it, but he never brought up the phone call again afterwards. As for her blind date, standing her up, Yunyan was speechless after learning the details. Jiang Yinyan admitted without hesitation in front of her that he was behind it. Being all members of the Jiang family, he knew very well who was in charge of which industries and projects, so making the other party too busy to attend was as easy as pie for him. She knew it. This man definitely wasn't up to any good. The blind date matter was temporarily put aside. Even old Mrs. Jiang learned about it and called Yunyan, not forgetting to praise the other party. "What a polite and well-mannered child, even specifically calling to apologize to me." "Yunyan, don't be angry." Yunyan wished the whole thing would just die down. So when old Mrs. Jiang asked her about her availability again, she said, "Grandma, I see his affairs are quite tricky and won't be settled in a day or two. My vacation is also running out, and I'll be very busy after returning to work. So let's find another opportunity for the blind date later. I know you're busy, but whether you can make time is up to someone else." The old lady immediately called Jiang Yinyan. Jiang Yinyan was sitting right next to Yunyan. Old Mrs. Jiang called Jiang Yinyan for one thing: to appropriately reduce Yunyan's workload and ensure work didn't take up time meant for her blind dates. Then she asked if he remembered. Jiang Yinyan agreed readily, and old Mrs. Jiang was quite pleased. After hanging up, he chuckled, "Dream on." He really was a two-faced schemer. Soon, there was a development concerning GZ. As Jiang Yinyan had previously inferred, GZ wasn't expelled from the Jiang family, but she wasn't allowed to move freely within the old residence either. She insisted the child was Jiang Zhe's, and Jiang Yintai decided to conduct a paternity test as soon as the baby was born. As for whether she could successfully marry into the Jiang family, if there was a 30% chance before, now there was none. Jiang Zhe clearly detested GZ. Ever since the incident, he simply stopped returning to the old residence, spending his days carousing outside, having a grand time, and even rumors circulated that he was involved with a popular female celebrity. GZ was so furious that she caused a scene in the old residence every day, but despite her tantrums, she didn't dare to anger old Mrs. Jiang. The servants of the Jiang family had all heard about Jiang Zhe's activities outside. Some who didn't understand the full situation felt quite sorry for GZ, but GZ was often arrogant towards the servants, which completely displeased them. Tang Hui sighed constantly, or else she would run to old Mrs. Jiang to complain tearfully. Old Mrs. Jiang spoke directly. "Jiang Zhe is the eldest grandson. Do you think I don't feel distressed? Not angry, but what kind of things has your son been doing? A perfectly good Yunyan, who could have been my granddaughter-in-law. Now I'm forced to shamelessly beg her to be my granddaughter. And look at your son again. One GZ wasn't enough of a lesson. He's out carousing with women every day, completely shaming the Jiang family." Jiang Yinqi's life was difficult. Even though the matter was suppressed and unknown to outsiders, Jiang Yintai was aware of it. Even without old Mrs. Jiang's direct intervention, Jiang Yintai targeted Jiang Yinqi at every turn on the board of directors, even withdrawing many projects under his charge. Enraged, Jiang Yinqi abandoned his usual forbearance and refinement, stormed into the old residence, and directly threw punches at Jiang Yintai. The day he threw punches was the third day after GZ's incident. It was still during the New Year period. Old Mrs. Jiang said with a heavy heart, "Ordinary families can have a peaceful New Year, so why can't our Jiang family?" While red lanterns hung high in every household, the Jiang family remained in turmoil. Jiang Yintai was punched twice by Jiang Yinqi, and his lip was bleeding. Old Mrs. Jiang was furious. Not only did she punish Jiang Yinqi, but every time she saw GZ, she got even angrier. She simply told GZ to move out of sight, out of mind. GZ cried bitterly, saying that if she moved out, wouldn't it just make the family a laughingstock to outsiders? But old Mrs. Jiang's mind was made up, and this time she seemed to be as hard as stone. The Jiang family also had houses outside. Old Mrs. Jiang told Tang Hui, "Since it's A's child, and A's is out carousing and not showing his face, then you should go out and look after them." She did assign a few servants to go along. Tang Hui nearly fainted. She absolutely despised GZ now, but what could she do? Living under the same roof, Tang Hui's anger was bound to be unleashed on GZ eventually. Their future days were predictable. Yunyan learned all this from Jiang Xin, who said, "Now, don't you think your uncle is the clear current of the Jiang family? Of the 3 sons of the Jiang family, 2 have turned against each other, and the last one benefits." And indeed he did benefit. The projects in Jiang Yinqi's hands were ruined, but they were all revived in Jiang Yinyan's hands. Jiang Yinqi didn't dare to throw punches at Jiang Yinyan. After all, he tried to steal a chicken, but ended up losing the bait, so he could only suffer in silence. Yunyan felt she was being a conspiracy theorist again. Had Jiang Yinyan orchestrated all of this? As for Ding Jie's matter, Jiang Yinyan told her about it. That evening, Jiang Yinyan came to her house. It wasn't time to go back to work yet, and Yunyan cherished her remaining few days of vacation. Although it was still the New Year period, Jiang Yinyan hadn't really rested. One Jiang family matter followed another, and his work affairs indeed didn't stop. During the New Year, there were some small and private gatherings for people in the industry. Jiang Yinyan wouldn't politely decline these, as they were all business networking opportunities. Seeing him arrive, Yunyan asked, "Just came from a gathering?" Jiang Yinyan now came to her house, as casually as if it were his own. He quickly changed into the lounge where he kept there, briefly freshened up, and then sat on the sofa, looking quite tired. He said, "The gathering was postponed. I went back to the old residence." Now, just hearing the words, "old residence," made Yunyan's liver tremble, and thinking of that storeroom at the end of the corridor made her eyes sting. She asked, "It's not GZ refusing to leave the old residence, is it?" "GZ has moved out, and Tang Hui is personally overseeing it." Jiang Yinyan leaned back lazily and reached out a hand towards her. Yunyan sat down next to him. Jiang Yinyan seemed slightly displeased by her lack of initiative. He took her wrist and pulled her into his embrace, wrapping his arm around her. "Ding Jie filed for divorce from second brother, and old Mrs. Jiang called me over too," Jiang Yinyan said. "To put it plainly, I'm an outsider, but sometimes being an outsider is more tiring." Yunyan was astonished. She sat up and turned to look at him. "Ding Jie wants a divorce?" Jiang Yinyan nodded. "Her marriage with second brother has long been a marriage in name only, or rather, they never had much affection for each other. It was purely a binding of commercial interests." This time, second brother was in the wrong, which gave Ding Jie a perfect excuse. Grandma agreed? What if she didn't agree? The Ding family came knocking because of this incident, and the Jiang family was in the wrong, so they had no choice but to agree. Ding Jie's demands? "She wants nothing but a divorce," Jiang Yinyan said. "But the Ding family are business people. How could they allow their daughter to leave empty-handed?" They presented some conditions to old Mrs. Jiang, including taking 1% of second brother's shares. Yunyan was puzzled. Doesn't Ding Jie hold shares in the group? If Jiang Yinqi's portion is also taken, then she... No, Jiang Yinyan answered crisply. Yunyan was taken aback. The Jiang family has always been very cautious regarding shares. For example, Tang Hui only held shares after giving birth to Jiang Zhe, and even then, there were conditions for holding them. Ding Jie and second brother never had children, so Ding Jie never acquired shares. Yunyan chuckled. "They're certainly meticulous planners." She asked again, "Grandma wouldn't agree to that, would she?" Aside from the shares, the other conditions were basically agreed to. In truth, the Ding family merely wanted to gain vested interest through their daughter, which is easy to deal with. It's just Ding Jie herself. She truly has no lingering attachment to the Jiang family at all. As he spoke, Jiang Yinyan tilted his head to look at her. Perhaps it's because she has someone else in her heart? Huh, I heard that before Ding Jie married into the Jiang family, she already had someone she liked, but he was a poor boy, so the Ding family didn't agree and forced a marriage alliance with the Jiang family. Yunyan understood. No wonder. Jiang Yinyan was still looking at her, seemingly observing her expression. It took Yunyan a while to realize he had been staring at her. Puzzled, she asked, "What is it?" Jiang Yinyan chuckled. "I once accidentally ran into that fellow. Neither his family background nor his appearance were as good as second brothers. Why do you think Ding Jie still thinks of him after all these years?" Yunyan thought for a moment and said, "Whether it's looks or family background, those are just icing on the cake. The rarest thing is genuine affection, isn't it? As the old saying goes, 1,000 pieces of gold for a fur coat are easily acquired, but a loving man is hard to find." Speaking of genuine affection, second brother was quite good to Ding Jie. I heard that anything Ding Jie liked, second brother would offer her with both hands, and if Ding Jie said she didn't want children, he wouldn't force her. His heart and eyes were all for Ding Jie. Logically, given enough time, even a stone would have been warmed up by now, wouldn't it? Jiang Yinyan said, looking at her. Yunyan asked, "They've been married for 3 years, right?" Jiang Yinyan nodded. Jiang Yinchi married late. It's roughly 3 years now. Only 3 years, and Jiang Yinchi cheated, and even cheated with his own niece-in-law. Is that what you call being good to Ding Jie? Yunyan strongly disagreed with Jiang Yinyan's statement. Cheating so skillfully and boldly. Who knows how many affairs he had even before this? Jiang Yinyan fell silent. Women are very sensitive about these kinds of things. I think Ding Jie knew Jiang Yinchi's character outside long ago, so it's normal that she didn't fall for him, Yunyan said. Jiang Yinyan pondered for a moment. Or perhaps Jiang Yinchi gave up because he never received a response? Perhaps Yunyan didn't quite understand why he was so interested in the relationship between Jiang Yinchi and Ding Jie. That's not good. Jiang Yinyan unexpectedly chuckled. If one has a desire, a greed, for someone and wants to obtain them, how can one let go so easily before achieving that? Yunyan felt uncomfortable hearing that. Just as she was feeling suspicious, Jiang Yinyan re-encircled her slender waist, and with a slight tightening of his arm, she was pulled close against him. He smiled, lowering his gaze to her, his voice deceptively gentle, like, "I have a desire for you, so I won't give up until I achieve my goal. Of course, if anyone dares to have designs on you during this time, or if you develop feelings for anyone, I absolutely won't let it go." Ding Jie coming to find Yunyan was something Yunyan hadn't expected. After all, Yunyan couldn't help with anything regarding her divorce from Jiang Yinchi. Yunyan had a faint feeling that it was most likely still related to GZ. In just a few short days, GZ's dream of using her child to climb the social ladder was shattered. Jiang Yinyan was away on a business trip. Therefore, the pressure for Yunyan's meeting with Ding Jie wasn't great. If Jiang Yinyan had been in Beishur, she probably wouldn't have been able to come out. Regarding Ding Jie and Jiang Yinchi, Jiang Yinyan's attitude was very clear. Keep as much distance from them as possible. Of course, these words were spoken before the truth came out. Now that everything was in the open, Yunyan was also quite curious about Ding Jie's purpose in seeking her out. The outside world didn't know about Ding Jie and Jiang Yinchi's divorce, but the Jiang family's prominence hadn't cooled down due to GZ's affair. So, to be safe, Ding Jie booked a more secluded club. Yunyan followed the address and found what could be described as a tranquil spot in the bustling city. Despite the dead of winter, the club was filled with the sound of birds and the fragrance of flowers. It was a club opened by one of Ding Jie's cousins, and she told Yunyan it was very safe. Tea was served with a faint orchid fragrance. In the Yu family, Yuanzhou once loved tea immensely. There was a dedicated tea room in their home, stocked with various finest teas, and the Yu family also had a tea courtyard, a small courtyard independent of the old Yu family residence, where Yuanzhou would personally dry and roast tea leaves in his leisure time. Yunyan couldn't say she particularly liked tea, but she didn't dislike it either. She was just quite surprised to see Ding Jie's skilled tea ceremony. Ding Jie was much younger than Tang Hui. Tea ceremony felt like something people Tang Hui's age would focus on more. Ding Jie easily noticed the surprise in her eyes and said, "Someone I knew once loved the art of tea, so I learned it. When I was young, I didn't think much of it, but now as I get older, I find I can calm my mind through it." "You're not that old," Yunyan said. Ding Jie scalded the teapot with hot water, then looked up at her. "Much older than you." Yunyan smiled slightly, offering no response. She and Ding Jie weren't particularly close, so she didn't intend to engage in too much small talk. "It's strange that I asked you to meet today, isn't it?" Ding Jie didn't beat around the bush. Yunyan was also straightforward, nodding. "Yes." Ding Jie smiled. "Yes, we don't usually meet much, and we don't have many connections." While speaking, her hands didn't stop moving. Jiang Yinshi and I have settled the divorce-related matters, and we'll go through with the procedures after the first lunar month. After the first lunar month? After all, it's still during the New Year period. Don't want to invite bad luck. Yunyan murmured, oh. The tea was ready. Ding Jie poured a cup for Yunyan and invited her to taste it. Yunyan raised her hand, lightly holding the rim of the teacup with her thumb and middle finger, and took a sip. The taste was rich and aromatic, a superb quality tea. Ding Jie poured herself a cup as well, and said casually, you actually saw what happened that New Year's Eve, didn't you? Cough. Yunyan almost spat out a mouthful of tea. She looked up at Ding Jie in astonishment. Ding Jie's expression remained light, with a hint of a smile, not seeming like she was seeking an explanation or blame. Yunyan wasn't sure what she was up to, so she didn't answer her question immediately. Instead, Ding Jie smiled at her. Actually, I saw you that night. You. Yunyan's first thought was that she not only saw her, but also Jiang Yinyan. I'm not trying to settle old scores, Ding Jie admitted frankly. Actually, Jiang Yinshi had barely stepped out that night when I followed him. I saw him with GZ, and then I saw you come downstairs and leave. I didn't want to be discovered either. Yunyan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. According to her account, she shouldn't have seen Jiang Yinyan. How did you know Jiang Yinshi had problems? Yunyan asked. Ding Jie scoffed. He's had problems for a long time. He'd been messing around with other women before, but unfortunately, I never found evidence. GZ could be considered heaven sent to save me. It's true that Jiang Yinshi wanted to use her to turn the tables, but it's also true that he was utterly infatuated with her. They've been fooling around together more than once or twice. I know all of this. So, you've actually been looking for an opportunity to get evidence. Yunyan drew a sharp breath. Yes, Ding Jie admitted. I hated this marriage, but I couldn't be the one to initiate the divorce. I had to get evidence of Jiang Yinshi's wrongdoing to get out unscathed. That New Year's Eve, I intended to collect evidence, but your appearance happened to interrupt my plan. Fortunately, GZ, in her desperation, dragged Jiang Yinshi down with her, and I ended up benefiting from their conflict. Yunyan pondered for a while after hearing this, then asked, so, even after years of marriage, you never truly accepted Jiang Yinshi in your heart? Just because he wasn't the one you wanted to marry? She felt that although Ding Jie was thoughtful and calculating, she was at least straightforward. Ding Jie wasn't surprised that Yunyan knew these things. She smiled. You heard that the person I once wanted to marry was a poor boy, right? Wasn't he? Yunyan looked puzzled. He wasn't a poor boy. Actually, his family was also part of the Beijing elite circle. He just broke away from his family, intent on being independent. Ding Jie said softly, then changed the subject. But I never dated him, and I wasn't the person he liked. Yunyan gasped, finding the story suddenly intriguing. Want to hear it? Ding Jie asked her. Yunyan nodded. Okay. Let's just call him Mr. Z for now, Ding Jie said softly. Although she didn't mention the person's name directly, the love in her eyes was undeniable. Ding Jie first met Mr. Z at a Beijing elite circle gathering. It was love at first sight, a fleeting glimpse. Mr. Z had recently returned to his family after studying abroad, and Ding Jie fell for him. Mr. Z was also quite kind to her. After all, being from the same Beijing elite circle, they easily got along. Ding Jie was much younger than Mr. Z, so every time he saw her, he called her little blonde girl. Not just blonde girl, but with the little prefix. There's indeed a big age difference between us, Ding Jie said with a laugh. But back then, my heart was stirred. I even secretly vowed to myself that I would marry him when I grew up. But not long after, Ding Jie heard that Mr. Z had a girlfriend. They were classmates, and she was the girl Mr. Z actively pursued. Ding Jie was dejected and heartbroken for a long time after hearing this news, but she never showed it in front of Mr. Z, always smiling and saying she wanted to meet his girlfriend. She did meet the girlfriend, who was a refined young lady from a prominent family, graceful in every move. She was a gentle and elegant woman from Jiangnan, and because she and Mr. Z had studied abroad together, they had endless topics to discuss. Ding Jie was jealous of the woman, yet she also enjoyed interacting with her. The woman mistakenly thought Ding Jie was Mr. Z's younger sister and asked Mr. Z in surprise, "Is there such a big age difference between you and your sister?" Mr. Z laughed and said, "She's the daughter of an old family friend. The little girl is very clingy." The woman then patted her head and said, "Clingy is good. Clingy little girls are endearing." Later, Mr. Z got married, Ding Jie said. To that woman, Ding Jie shook her head, giving a wry smile. They broke up. It was related to family interests. Mr. Z and that woman, their families had no practical financial dealings, so naturally, they couldn't be together. Of course, this is how I perceived the situation. Perhaps there were other hidden circumstances I wasn't aware of, Ding Jie said. Mr. Z was the son on whom the family placed the most hope at the time, so the Jiangnan woman was not the first choice for Mr. Z's family. Ding Jie even heard a remark from his family. Even if you like a Ding family girl, we'd agree to your marriage once she comes of age. Perhaps this was why Ding Jie couldn't forget him, even though she knew hope was slim. Mr. Z's family had chosen a marriage partner for him. Mr. Z strongly objected, but he couldn't resist his family threatening him with death. At the same time, he heard that the woman he loved had gotten married, and in his despair, he agreed to his family's arrangements. Mr. Z was not happy after marriage. He and his wife always treated each other with respect, like guests. His wife was not an arrogant or overbearing person. She was gentle and generous, and gradually, she managed to win back some of Mr. Z's heart. At that time, Ding Jie would often go to see Mr. Z when she had nothing to do, and she knew all his joys and sorrows. I had no intention of being a mistress. In fact, he always treated me like a little sister, Ding Jie emphasized. Yunyan nodded. Mr. Z and his wife lived together peacefully. Ultimately, Ding Jie still missed those days because she could interact with him under the guise of being his little sister. Until Mr. Z met a woman who made him lose his mind. She was actually very much like his first love, the Jiangnan woman. Her every movement, every smile, every frown was remarkably similar, and even their preferences were consistent. Mr. Z became utterly infatuated with her, so much so that he abandoned his wife and children, giving up everything to elope with that woman. The two left Beishur for another city. Although Mr. Z couldn't give the woman a proper status, he was wholeheartedly devoted to her. Ding Jie later saw Mr. Z and the woman. Although their life was simple and poor, they seemed quite happy. The woman was quite friendly to Ding Jie, but one day, she asked her, "Am I very much like his first love?" Ding Jie saw apprehension in the woman's eyes. At that moment, Ding Jie felt quite pity for her and said softly, "Don't overthink it. He abandoned his entire family for you." Actually, what I thought at the time was, if he could abandon his entire family for me, then no matter who he harbored in his heart, or whether he saw me as a substitute, it wouldn't matter. I would definitely follow him devotedly. What happened then? Yunyan asked. Ding Jie lowered her gaze, refilled their tea, and said softly, "They stayed together until they were in a car accident. Neither of them survived." Yunyan was stunned. Just like that, gone? Ding Jie looked up at her and smiled slightly. "Do you think it's a pity? But that's how things are in this world. Rarely perfect, often filled with sighs. Sometimes I wonder, what were my true feelings for Mr. Z? If Mr. Z hadn't died and was still alive today, would I still be unable to forget him?" Yunyan slowly turned her teacup, pondered for a long time, then asked Ding Jie, "What is the purpose of telling me all this?" Ding Jie looked up at her. "Sometimes, third brother mentions you and always praises your intelligence. Now it seems that's true. The reason I'm telling you all this is because..." Yunyan didn't know how she got home. She was in a daze the whole way, and the buildings outside the car window looked unfamiliar to her. Yes, everything had become strange to her. Things she had been so certain about, things she had believed without a doubt, were all changing, furiously eroding her faith. Yunyan was so disoriented that she didn't hear her phone ring several times in her bag. It was the driver who reminded her, and only then did she fumbling for her phone. It was Jiang Yunyan calling. She even stared at Jiang Yunyan's name for a long time. After she answered, Jiang Yunyan's voice was deep. "Why did it take you so long to pick up?" Yunyan opened her mouth, but for a moment, no words came out. After a while, she said hoarsely, "I met someone, I was in the car, didn't hear it." She couldn't even string together a complete sentence. Jiang Yunyan sensed her abnormality and asked sensitively, "Who did you meet? What happened?" Jiang Yunyan. Yunyan gripped the car door handle, her fingers aching from the tightness. She called his name. For some reason, at that moment, she felt an inexplicable sense of grievance and fear, an unspeakable anxiety, as if she had thought her path had been strewn with fragrant flowers, only to look back and realize that all those so-called flowers and beauty were nothing but illusions. What was real? What was fake? Yunyan couldn't tell the difference anymore. She wanted to cry. Her eyes were red, and tears welled up. There was a moment of silence on the other end. Then his voice was soft when he spoke again. "Tell me slowly. Don't be afraid." Yunyan wanted to speak, but for a moment, she didn't know how. The information Ding Jie had given her was hard to digest. Her mind had stopped working. Jiang Yunyan was very patient on the other end, not rushing or urging her, just waiting for her to speak. After a long time, she asked him with a trembling voice, "Actually, you've known all along that my mother didn't love my father, haven't you?" A brief silence on the other end. Then he said, "Your father was very good to your mother, and your mother did have feelings for your father." Had feelings? Yunyan found it grating. Jiang Yunyan sighed softly. When a husband and wife are together, hearts aren't made of stone. Ding Jie and Jiang Yunxi didn't fall in love over time either, Yunyan said, clutching her chest, feeling the pain. "It's different," Jiang Yinyan unexpectedly spoke well of you, Yuan. Your father genuinely cared for your mother. His love for your mother and for you was from the heart. Why are you speaking for him? I won't twist the facts. Yunyan fell silent, but a downpour of emotions surged back into her heart, becoming a bitter ocean that almost suffocated her. Are you going home now? Jiang Yunyan didn't press her about who she had met. Yunyan hummed in affirmation. Go home and get some good rest. Don't think about anything. Don't go out for dinner. I'll have someone send it to you. No need. Listen to me. Yunyan was quite obedient. In truth, she didn't know how to face this matter. The next day, Yunyan couldn't bear it any longer and went to the sanatorium. She bought many daily necessities for Song Lan and then accompanied Song Lan to sunbathe in the garden. Song Lan's condition was quite good today. She wasn't clinging to that orchid pot in a frenzy, nor did she show any signs of rejection when Yunyan arrived. She even let Yunyan sit beside her while she sunbathed. The attending doctor told Yunyan that Song Lan's condition had been quite good lately, and she was interacting with the outside world. She's become even more fond of beauty, the doctor said. There were all kinds of elderly people in the sanatorium, but Song Lan was exceptionally clean, not only dressing neatly, but also very meticulously. Nowadays, she also enjoyed dressing up. According to the caregiver, Ms. Song did her skincare routine every night before bed, something she used to do only occasionally, but now a single session could last over an hour. Yunyan wasn't surprised because her mother had been like this before the Yu family's troubles. Sometimes, she would do nothing all day but care for her face and body from morning till night, with a beautician coming to their home to tailor a skincare regimen specifically for her mother. That lipstick color is really pretty, Song Lan suddenly spoke. Yunyan was startled, then realized Song Lan was staring at her lips as she spoke, and reacted, Mom, you like it? Song Lan didn't reply, just kept gazing at Yunyan's lips. Yunyan hadn't slept well last night, dreaming constantly, and fearing it would affect her skin. She went out barefaced this morning. Before leaving, she felt her complexion wasn't great, so she casually applied some lipstick. Her skin was fair, and the lipstick, applied with a simple blend, only accentuated its porcelain whiteness. She took out the lipstick from her purse and said to Song Lan, Let me put some on you. Song Lan was also from Jiangnan, and Yunyan's fair skin was inherited from her, so this lipstick color suited Song Lan very well. Song Lan didn't resist while the lipstick was applied. Yunyan was incredibly excited, almost to tears. She gently applied the lipstick to Song Lan, just as she would to herself, a light touch, then slowly blending it with her fingertip. It looked beautiful indeed. She then took out her compact mirror and showed it to Song Lan. Song Lan stared at herself in the mirror, a faint smile gracing her lips. Seeing her in a good mood, Yunyan said, Mom, look, you're still so pretty. Whether Song Lan heard it or was simply immersed in her own world, she was smiling quite happily. I heard Dad say you had many suitors when you were young, and he had to overcome many difficulties to marry you, Yunyan said tentatively. Song Lan remained silent, as if she hadn't heard Yunyan's words, just looking left and right at herself in the mirror. Before my dad, did you ever like other boys? Yunyan's tone was feigned casualness. She really didn't want to ask, but regarding past events, she could only ask Song Lan for now. There were many relatives from prominent families, but most had scattered when the family fell. Those she could contact just wanted to see a joke. Song Lan threw the mirror on the ground. Her mood suddenly shifted. Yunyan froze, turned to look at her. It didn't seem like she was angry at Yunyan's words, but rather angry at herself in the mirror. Yunyan found communication difficult. After a long while, she asked Song Lan with a troubled heart, Mom, do you still remember Jean Jimmy? Song Lan's shoulders trembled slightly. This time, there was a reaction. She turned and stared at Yunyan, her gaze extremely sharp. Yunyan was startled by her gaze. For so long, she had mentioned Yuan Zhou, her father, and even the Yu family's past, and Song Lan had shown no reaction. But mentioning Jean, Jiming elicited a response. But why this kind of reaction? Mom, get out. Song Lan suddenly blurted out. Yunyan froze. Leave here, I don't want to see you. Song Lan's emotions suddenly flared up. It startled Yunyan, who quickly tried to calm her. Mom, don't get agitated. Don't touch me. You beast. Don't touch me. Song Lan's emotions grew more intense, and she even began to roar. Yunyan trembled violently. Yunyan waited until Song Lan's emotions had stabilized before leaving the sanatorium. She didn't go back into Song Lan's room because Song Lan's reaction had been too strong. She had even smashed the orchid pot, screaming hysterically, Take it away. I don't want to see it. Outside the sanatorium, tears streamed down Yunyan's face. Overwhelmed by regret and grievance, she squatted by the entrance and burst into sobs. She deeply regretted causing her mother's emotional fluctuation. Song Lan was already ill. Why did she have to be so aggressive? Were past events really that important? Did she have to dig for answers? Yet at the same time, she felt wronged. She desperately wanted to confirm that her parents truly loved each other, that the Yu family was fine, that her father was fine, and that they hadn't hidden anything from her. When Yu Zhuanzhou's car approached the sanatorium, he spotted Yunyin squatting by the entrance from a distance. Xiao Min, sitting in the passenger seat, saw her most clearly, pointing outside, "She's there." 10 minutes later, Yunyin got into the car. Xiao Min sat in the back with her. Yunyin didn't speak, nor did her tears fall anymore. She just seemed utterly depressed. Since Yunyin didn't speak, Xiao Min didn't ask questions, just silently accompanied her. Yu Wanzhou went into the sanatorium first to see Song Lan, staying for almost half an hour. When he returned to the car, he told Yunyin, "Don't worry, Mom's fine." While I went in, Ms. Song was watching a Korean drama and was quite entertained. Yunyin suddenly looked up and stared at Yu Wanzhou, unblinking. Yu Wanzhou was bewildered by her stare, reaching out and waving his hand in front of her eyes. "Sis?" As soon as Yunyin heard him call her that, the sharpness in her eyes gradually receded, and she became fragile again. Xiao Min shot Yu Wanzhou a look, signaling him not to ask any more questions and to drive quickly. Yu Wanzhou was full of questions, but he obediently followed Xiao Min's instructions, turning around and starting the car. As they drove towards the city, Xiao Min saw that her mood had stabilized somewhat and gently asked her, "Haven't you eaten yet? Shall we go grab something to eat? A new Thai restaurant just opened. It's quite authentic. We could—" "I want hot pot," Yunyin said softly. "Hot pot," Yu Wanzhou said, steadily holding the steering wheel. "No problem. There's a good shabu-shabu place." "Chongqing hot pot," Yunyin said. Xiao Min turned to look at her. "It's cold. Maybe a clear broth lamb hot pot." "No, I just want something spicy," Yunyin sniffled, her eyes turning slightly red again. Seeing this, Yu Wanzhou quickly said, "Oh, don't cry, all right, we'll go for Chongqing hot pot. I'll take you right now." "Find the most authentic place," Yunyin said, her voice choked with tears. "Don't take me to somewhere unauthentic." Okay, I know a place. Guaranteed most authentic. The chef's family has been Chongqing natives for over 3 generations. Is that good enough?" Yu Wanzhou was most afraid of her crying. The moment her eyes reddened, let alone hot pot, he'd find a way to get her dragon meat if she wanted it. Are all Chongqing people necessarily good at making hot pot? Yunyin's eyes were moist, being a little unreasonable. Yu Wanzhou immediately corrected himself. Their ancestors have been running hot pot restaurants for generations, the most authentic kind. Yunyin wanted to laugh, but couldn't, and her tears still couldn't be controlled, sliding down her face. Xiao Min reached out and pulled her into a hug, comforting her with a mix of laughter and tears. "Yin, be good. We're gonna have hot pot right away. Don't cry anymore." Then she told Yu Wanzhou, "Don't forget to stop at the pharmacy when we pass one." "Don't worry, I won't forget." As a result, Yunyin ate a lot that night, and she ate exclusively from the spicy hot pot, not even touching the clear broth side. Even when blanching vegetables, she used the spicy pot. In the past, Yunyin would also crave Chongqing hot pot, but she'd always order a half spicy, half clear broth pot, and after each bite of spicy food, she'd need several bites of the clear broth to soothe her palate. Yu Wanzhou and Xiao Min were well aware of her habits, so they had also ordered a Gyeong pot this time, which left them both utterly surprised. During the meal, Yu Wanzhou asked Yunyin about it, but Yunyin hesitated repeatedly, unable to reveal the truth. In the end, she just buried her head, blanching food and eating. Yu Wanzhou was quite anxious, but Xiao Min discreetly nudged him, saying, "It's rare to see her eating so happily. Let's just enjoy the meal with her. She'll tell us when she's ready." An hour after Yunyin was dropped off at home, Xiao Min called. She asked, "Something big must have happened, right? You won't tell Aizhou, so is it related to Aizhou?" Yunyin lay in bed, her stomach burning. Rubbing it, she said, "Yes, so before things become clear, I don't want Aizhou to worry too much. As for me, while I don't know what exactly happened to make you lose control, you need to be mentally prepared for Aizhou's situation," Xiao Min said softly. "You know as well as I do that Aizhou will have to leave the Yu family sooner or later." "I know," Yunyin replied, her heart heavy at the mention of it. "I can't even discuss this with Aizhou. It's a knot in his heart, and I dare not touch it," Xiao Min said. Yunyin sighed, then, after a long silence, said, "It's something we'll have to face sooner or later. The environment over there is so complex." After the call ended, Yu Zhuanzhou's WeChat message came through, reminding her to take her medicine again and to contact him anytime if she felt unwell. Yu Wanzhou sent a voice message, and the background was quite quiet. When Xiao Min called earlier, the background sounded like a gym. Yunyin replied with "okay," then asked Yu Wanzhou, "Why aren't you with Minmin?" Yu Wanzhou replied, "He has a conference call tonight." Yunyin sent him an understanding emoji, then thought for a moment and sent a voice message to Xiao Min. "What's going on? Isn't it a conference call? And he's still at the gym?" Xiao Min replied, "Although you're his sister, I'm not afraid to tell you. Understand playing hard to get? Even if we don't know what the future holds, it's good to have him captivated by you for now. Yunyan sent her a thumbs-up emoji. Soon after lying down, she felt her stomach growing more and more uncomfortable. When she got up to drink water, her stomach spasmed, and the next moment, she rushed into the bathroom. She vomited profusely. Her esophagus burned with pain. Less than 2 minutes after coming out of the bathroom, her stomach ached again, and she hurried back to the bathroom. It truly became a scene of both vomiting and diarrhea. By the time Jiang Yunyan entered the house, Yunyan had already been to the bathroom 4 times, leaning against the wall, weak and listless. The table lamp in the living room was on, and Jiang Yunyan saw Yunyan at a glance, her face deathly pale. He didn't even have time to change his shoes, rushing directly from the entryway into the living room and catching Yunyan as she swayed. "What's wrong?" Jiang Yunyan asked with a frown. Only up close did he notice her forehead was covered in cold sweat, and the back of her clothes were damp. Seeing her hunched over, her delicate eyebrows twisted like a wrung-out rag, he understood instantly. So, without waiting for her answer, he asked again, "Did you eat too many snacks you shouldn't have?" "No." Yunyan was on the verge of tears, the pain unbearable. "Hot pot." Jiang Yunyan's face darkened at the mention of it. "I already took medicine," Yunyan quickly said. Jiang Yunyan grumbled, "Do you still need to go to the bathroom?" Yunyan shook her head. She was utterly exhausted, her legs trembling. Jiang Yunyan bit out 4 words, "Serves you right for suffering." Yunyan weakly pushed him away. "Go away. I'm already so uncomfortable, and you're still scolding me." Jiang Yunyan was exasperated, yet laughed. "Shouldn't I scold you?" Without further ado, he swooped her up in his arms and walked out. "Where are we going?" Yunyan's voice was like a kitten's. "Hospital. I don't want shots." "Shut up." Yunyan was quickly taken to the hospital and directly admitted to a ward. Blood was drawn, and IVs were administered. As the needle went in, Yunyan instinctively turned her head away. Jiang Yunyan subtly stepped forward, reached out, and drew her head to him. Her face pressed against his lower abdomen, and even through his shirt, she could feel the firmness and smooth lines of his physique, just like when she was little, afraid of needles. Jiang Yunyan gently stroked her head to comfort her. After the doctors and nurses left, he looked down at her. "You'll be better soon." The backer of this international hospital was the Jiang family. So who in the capital wouldn't recognize young Master Yin? As the doctors and nurses walked out of the ward, old Lu, who was waiting outside the door, stopped them. Old Lu said, "Tonight's matter." He didn't finish the sentence. But the doctors and nurses were clever, especially the attending physician, who quickly understood old Lu's meaning and whispered, "Don't worry, tonight we only treated an ordinary patient." Old Lu nodded slightly, signaling that they could leave. In the ward, Yunyan leaned against the bed. After about 10 minutes of 4 fluids, her stomach felt a little better. Jiang Yunyan poured her a glass of warm water. "I was in too much of a hurry to get a straw. Just drink it like this." Whenever she was hospitalized, she needed a straw to drink water. So to say she didn't have any young miss tendencies wasn't true. She had quite a few such minor demands. Yunyan freed her other hand to take it, but Jiang Yunyan didn't release the cup, instead bringing it to her lips. She lowered her hand, took 2 sips, and stopped. Jiang Yunyan didn't force her, placing the cup on the bedside table. He said, "When others have problems, they usually just drink and then sleep it off. But you? Every time you gorge yourself indiscriminately, you manage to land yourself in the hospital." "When have I done it every time?" Yunyan recovered a little strength, but sweat still occasionally beaded on her forehead. Jiang Yunyan pulled out a tissue and wiped her forehead. "How many times has it been since you were little?" Yunyan fell silent. She lowered her head, her long eyelashes casting shadows on her cheeks. Coupled with her still pale complexion, she looked all the more fragile and pitiful as she leaned back. Jiang Yunyan's heart skipped a beat, and when he spoke again, his voice was softer, still uncomfortable. Yunyan replied, "Better." When she looked up at him, her eyes shimmered, as if adorned with stardust, making Jiang Yunyan's heart ache with a tender longing once more. Unaware of his thoughts, she asked, "Why are you back so suddenly?" "He was on a business trip out of town, expected back in 2 days. Finished things up, so I came back," Jiang Yunyan replied casually. Yunyan oh-ed, thinking, that was quite fast. Her stomach started to feel uncomfortable again, and she frowned slightly. "Don't talk anymore, lie down and rest." Jiang Yunyan knew her condition best. He had basically been the one to take care of her when he was in the Yu family. Yunyan, weak and unreliable, obediently laid down on her side. As soon as she closed her eyes, she felt dizzy, the world spinning. Even a strong man couldn't withstand such intense purging, let alone a weak woman like her. Exhausted and sleepy after being tormented for most of the night, she gradually grew drowsy with Jiang Yinyan's hand rhythmically patting her shoulder. Half dreaming, half waking, she murmured, Jiang Yinyan, do you know about my mother's matter? Jiang Yinyan sat on the edge of the bed, looking down at her, his gentle stroking not stopping. You sleep well, don't think about anything. His words were like a hypnotic spell, and Yunyan soon fell into a deep sleep. About 10 minutes later, sure that Yunyan was asleep, Jiang Yinyan left the ward. He instructed old Lu, find out what happened. Old Lu replied, okay. Seeing Jiang Yinyan about to return to the ward, old Lu said, I'll have someone bring a blanket. The senior ward was occupied. Yunyan's ward was temporarily vacant and had a sofa that could be slept on, but without pillows and blankets, it wouldn't be comfortable. Jiang Yinyan said, no need, I won't sleep tonight. She'll be restless again later in the night. Old Lu was unaware of Yunyan's past habits, but believed Jiang Yinyan. However, you cut short your work and rushed back, dusty and travel-worn, already not getting enough rest. How can your body take another all-nighter? Old Lu worried. It's fine. Jiang Yinyan patted old Lu's shoulder. You go back and rest, don't stay here. But, go back. Indeed, Yunyan was restless in the latter half of the night, kicking off her blanket and tossing and turning in bed. Jiang Yinyan had been sitting on the sofa, handling official business. Hearing the commotion, he put his laptop aside, got up, walked to the bedside, and reached out to touch her. She had a fever. It was expected. Her body was quite hot. If he hadn't experienced this before, Jiang Yinyan would have panicked now. But he was used to it. He took out the pre-prepared thermometer and placed it under Yunyan's armpit. To this day, he still preferred traditional mercury thermometers, never liking electronic ones. Perhaps it was a prejudice, but he always felt electronic thermometers were inaccurate. Due to the discomfort of her fever, Yunyan was restless even while lying down. He gently held her body, trying to keep her from moving around. Yunyan's brows were tightly furrowed, and perhaps delirious from the fever, she murmured, Yin. Jiang Yinyan's large hand, gently pressing her, trembled slightly. After a long pause, he leaned down and patted her. I'm here. Yunyan, with a tearful, tiny voice, said, Yin, I'm so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. You'll be better soon, he whispered comfortingly. Yunyan's brows were still tightly knit. Will I die? I'm going to die, aren't I? Jiang Yinyan couldn't help but smile wryly. She'd been like this since she was little. Whenever she was sick enough to be hospitalized, she'd worry about dying if she felt even a little pain. No, don't be afraid. Her temperature was taken. It wasn't a high fever. Jiang Yinyan got warm water and a towel, and by the bedside, he wet the towel repeatedly to physically cool her down. He wiped her forehead, neck, and palms. When he unbuttoned her clothes, Jiang Yinyan's hand paused. Once, when she was also feverish at the Yu family home, and Song Lan and Yu Yiyuan were out of town and couldn't return, he had helped Yunyan with physical cooling. At that time, the buttons on her clothes were pressed between his fingers, but in the end, he had released them. Jiang Yinyan's eyes darkened as he pulled himself out of his memories. The button between his fingers was smooth and delicate. With a gentle undoing, a large portion of her fair skin was revealed. It wasn't like before anymore. Jiang Yinyan was meticulous even with the simple physical cooling, wiping her from head to toe repeatedly. Throughout the entire process, Yunyan was in a daze, but it was Jiang Yinyan who had a hard time. Finally, after helping her bring her temperature down, Jiang Yinyan asked a nurse to bring a new hospital gown. As he changed Yunyan's clothes, she sagged limply against him. He felt the urge to press her onto the bed every single second. The woman in his arms was as soft as a puddle of water at that very moment. Her fever had broken, but he was burning up. After changing her clothes and seeing that she was sleeping soundly, Jiang Yinyan went into the bathroom for a shower. Cold water splashed onto the man's broad back, flowing slowly down his smooth, solid bones and muscle lines. The water was already cold enough, but his lower abdomen felt like a hidden volcano, eager to erupt, burning him until his entire skeletal frame ached. His blood surged, making his breathing ragged, and every cell in his body screamed for release. Before his eyes, the woman's fair, soft body still appeared, and the fragrant, soft sensation of her in his arms lingered. He gritted his teeth, Vixen. It took a long shower to bring him some relief. Returning to the bedside, Yunyan was still sleeping soundly. He touched her forehead again. Her temperature had gone down. The fever had broken. Jiang Yinyan secretly sighed in relief. The next day, for reasons unknown, Yuanzhou arrived at the hospital with Xiaomin. At the time, Yunyan was already awake, eating breakfast with a frown. Because it was bland. It was just plain congee and lightly stir-fried side dishes, with very little oil in the latter. Yunyan tried to bargain with Jiang Yinyan, but he reprimanded her. Don't you know why you're hospitalized? Then I won't eat spicy food. No to that either. You can only eat bland food for a while. Jiang Yinyan interrupted her in a low voice. Yunyan felt truly wronged. Honestly, for such a long time, she had thought her stomach had grown stronger. For quite a while, no matter what she ate, her stomach was fine, and she'd had spicy hot pot before without any issues. She had even thought to herself that her stomach must have had princess syndrome, but now that the Yu family had fallen, her stomach had become less delicate. It truly seemed there was an act in this world called getting a slap in the face. Some things really shouldn't be judged too early, otherwise, you'd end up with a very red face. Now, she felt her face ache so much, but eating the bland, watery food in front of her. I'd rather have a feast and end up in the hospital, she mumbled. What did you say? Jiang Yinyan deliberately leaned closer to her. Come on, say it again. Yinyan shut her mouth, but she couldn't really stay quiet. Jiang Yinyan was feeding her spoonful after spoonful of kanji. She wanted to drink it herself, but Jiang Yinyan, seeing through her little trick, smiled. Drink it yourself? You'd scoop up so much with one spoonful, it would take you 10 small sips to get through it. It's not that exaggerated. Just then, Yuan Zhou and Xiao Min entered. Old Lu, walking ahead, called out young Master Yin. Jiang Yinyan glanced up, showing little reaction. He seemed to have anticipated Yu Zhuanzhou's arrival, so he didn't stop feeding her kanji. Yun Yin, however, hadn't expected them to come. She was stunned for a moment, only reacting when Jiang Yinyan brought the kanji to her lips. The awkwardness was palpable. Open, Jiang Yinyan said indifferently. Yuan Zhou witnessed this scene, and his face instantly darkened. Xiaomin's heart pounded. She instinctively glanced at Yuan Zhou, thinking, please don't let them fight. Yunyan looked at Jiang Yinyan. I can eat by myself. Jiang Yinyan didn't make things difficult for her. He put down the spoon, stood up, poured her a glass of water, and instructed, eat it all, no leftovers. Yunyan thought he would leave, given that Jiang Yinyan and Yuan Zhou couldn't stand the sight of each other now. But he had no intention of going. He sat down on a nearby sofa, casually crossing his right leg over his left, and pulled out a magazine to read. This scene made Yunyan. It seemed he had no intention of leaving. Why are you here? Yunyan tried her best to treat Jiang Yinyan as if he weren't there. Yuan Zhou intended to do the same. He stepped forward and said softly, You're in the hospital. How could I not come see you? Was it because you ate too much spicy food last night? Yunyan's face flushed with embarrassment again. After a long moment, she hummed an affirmation. Xiao Min, however, couldn't ignore Jiang Yinyan. She spoke cautiously. To her, Jiang Yinyan was more terrifying than a tiger in the mountains. She was just afraid of accidentally provoking the tiger's wrath. She sat down by the bed. It's all our fault. We really shouldn't have indulged you in eating so much last night. What does it have to do with you? I wanted to eat it myself. You couldn't have tied my hands and feet, Yunyan said with a light chuckle. After dawn, she felt much better and had the strength to lean against the headboard. Needless to say, it was like before. She even asked Jiang Yinyan if she had a fever last night. Jiang Yinyan said irritably, You know everything, and yet you never learn. Yunyan was so chastened she couldn't utter a word.